This is the Generative AI Security Podcast, brought to you by the OWASP Top 10 for LLM apps and GenAI. We'll be talking about pertinent industry issues around generative AI with our project leads, contributors, and more. Please click like and subscribe for all of our latest content.
Hey there, community. Aubrey here with the Generative AI Security Project, and I'm bringing you another version, our 7th episode of the GenAI Security Podcast. So happy to have Steve and Scott from the project with me, of course, and we are going to talk about really our rename, rebrand. What is this new name for us? And also we're going to talk about what is going on for us at the RSA conference for folks who are going to be there. So I'm going to bring you guys on. How are you today, gentlemen?
Doing well.
Awesome.
Nice,
Yeah.
nice. Great to see you both, of course. I can't wait to actually see you in person in 2 weeks now?
That's right.
Whew,
Just-
it's going to be fun. It'll be fun.
Absolutely.
I don't know if I can record all of that video again. I mean, that was like an entire day's worth of video. We'll see. I'll see, I'll stress my memory cards as much as possible, but we should be good to go for at least a lot of good content coming to the community from that.
Yeah.
That's great.
So really just jumping right into things. Let's actually not talk about RSA first. Let's talk about the rename and the rebrand. I'm not sure who wants to go first here, but some people may have confusion about this. Let's clarify.
Well, maybe I'll go first. I'll give a little bit of the history here, and then Scott can get into the what we did. But basically, when we started this project, which is now just about 2 years ago, I first proposed this just after RSA 2023. I posted a thing on my own personal LinkedIn recruiting people to work on a top 10 list for large language models, which were really new at that point. It was like 4 months after the launch of ChatGPT. Thought I'd find 10 people who were interested in this obscure corner of the universe. Instead, we had hundreds of people sign up for the Slack channel in the first 48, 72 hours. And now we've got, 1,500 people on a Slack channel and 8,000 people on a LinkedIn group. But what happened is we did produce that first top 10, wound up being really popular. And then we had this big group that was full of energy and smart people, and they started coming up with other ideas. Sandy proposed a CISO checklist, and then it snowballed from there. And most recently, we've got red teaming guides and agentic advice and on and on and on, right? AI's center of excellence. At some point, we realized it structurally didn't make sense to all have these part of a top 10 list project. We still wanted the top 10 list to be the top 10 list because it's so popular, and we didn't want to dilute that. So we kind of created this new umbrella organization to house the top 10 list and all the other things. And I'll let Scott take the story from there.
Yeah, in fact, as Steve was mentioning, it started out as a small group, and we just got to this point. And I think the other thing that came to clarity as we grew was that people were not looking. The top 10 list was a great starting point for a lot of folks. We saw everybody picking it up, from CISOs to this target audience, developers and AppSec guys. And that's where Sandy's idea came in. Hey, let's make something that's slightly tailored to CISOs. And from there, we recognized that people were really looking for more solutions around it. So that's where we started out this whole approach toward initiatives that grew with the project. Steve mentioned some of them, from the red teaming to the agentic initiatives that are built out. But the group has grown so quickly. So as part of this growth, we wanted to do two things. We wanted to recognize and organize ourselves to make a little bit more sense. I think it would be unfair to expect every top 10 list to kind of end up where we are. It's been a kind of a unique journey. And in working both in the community and with the leadership of OWASP, I think the decision we came to was that we really needed to come up with a structure that came up with a new name that really represented the body of work that the project had grown into, which continues to include the top 10 list. It includes these new initiatives that we're doing. And so that's where we came up and with the GenAI security project. So the GenAI security project is really that culmination of all of that work that is continuing and even expanding, but put under a new brand that better represents the work of the project, the community, and what people can expect.
Very cool. Yeah, I actually I love it. At first, I wasn't sure how I'd feel about it. Like change, and change always means I have to change banners and graphics and that kind of thing. So it is a personal thing, but it's great. It really is. It makes a lot more sense. And when I go to see the content that we have posted, as someone who consumes it frequently, it's really easy to navigate the new website and just kind of the way that we're thinking about how to get this content is really very intuitive. So thank you. I appreciate all the work you guys did on that.
Yeah, there's been a lot of pressure to do when we started to come up with the name just for fun. There are people saying, why don't you become the AI security project? And part of that was that we wanted to stay focused. So I think the success that the team has been a couple things. We put a little bit more rigor around how we develop those materials, make sure they're peer reviewed, etc. And sometimes that means that we're making certain decisions, but it means that we're also making sure that things are getting delivered that have tangible value, that are usable by the audience. That's the number one tenet that we have as a community. And so when people talked about, why don't you do the whole AI security, like, the challenge with that is that's such a big bucket. Generative AI on its own is evolving so fast, and the ability to keep up, to create relevant content, to help people down that path seemed like a big enough piece to bite off. So
I would agree. The generative side of things is huge. We don't need to tackle all the machine learning stuff and on, right?
Yep.
So that's obviously we're going out there in the field and we're doing stuff. The next big thing to come is the RSA conference, and both of you are going to be there. Yes,
Absolutely.
Yep, for sure.
Right. It's close to home, so for me it's quite a hike, but I can't wait to get out there and actually taste some warmth. It feels like it's been freezing here for 6 months, and it probably has in upstate New York. But there's a lot of excitement going on. We've put together a bit more than we did last year. We for those of you that did not go last year, we had one entire day. That Thursday was dedicated as an AI summit for us, and it was quite informative. And as far as content that we brought you, the community, there was a huge red teaming video that went kind of ballistic. You guys were chomping at the bit for some of that data, and thank you for that. It helps us insofar as the direction that we go with our content as well. But this year we've broken things down, and it's kind of expanded beyond just the summit. So anyone want to take a stab at this?
Yeah, I mean, we started with the summits last year, and now we're, as you said, kind of expanding even further, right? So we had a half day, and actually a lot of the feedback from that session helped drive a lot of the change that we just talked about, that the expansion around areas of focus, et cetera. So we have a lot of things happening. And I know, for example, Steve, you have sessions as well. So on top of this, we have some individual sessions that are going on, as well as what we have scheduled here.
Yeah, so I have a session that is on day 1 in the afternoon. It's called "The Machines Are Learning, But Are We?" And last year, Gavin Klondike and I did a very popular session that was just literally on the top 10. Decided this year, most people have read the top 10. So we're going to expand kind of the thinking there. So my session this year is really around looking at some of the offensive uses of AI, which is another topic that the group here has taken up. Look at how that's playing into the modern cybersecurity climate, and then look at some of the uses for how do you combine, traditional machine learning and Gen AI to build cyber defense strategies. So that one should hopefully be really fun. And then a quick plug, right after that in the RSA bookstore, I'm going to be signing my O'Reilly book, which if you've been following along the project, you know that was a direct offshoot of the project.
Yep. Yeah, which is great. And so if you haven't gotten the book, I think I need to get a copy of the book.
I think I owe you one as soon as I see you at the show. So
I think that's what I was leaning on. Yeah. So
I was going to say the same thing. What the?
So, and I think we got that happening the first day. Second day, we actually have something that's not on here, which is we are hosting a panel. I'm hosting a panel along with the leaders of the COSI group as part of OASIS, as well as Linux Foundation. And we're be talking about how we're building generative AI, how open source and standards organizations are kind of leading the way today, especially open communities around building best practices around generative AI and how we're collaborating together. So that'll be happening on Tuesday around 2:45 in the afternoon. So building secure AI, open source collaboration, have a look at that session as we lead into what is for us Wednesday, which has become, I would call it GenAI and OWASP Project Day. It's like Wednesday is the day. So if you can join us Wednesday, so if you don't have access to passes, so the first two sessions we talked about require an RSA pass to attend. These are not that. Well, they don't require they can use an RSA Expo pass is an easy way to get into the summit. So anybody who has an Expo pass can join us Wednesday at 8:30 to get kicked off. And we'll go through a lot of the research that we've talked about. We'll talk a little bit around the direction of the project. We've got some new resources that are coming out for CISOs. We have a couple of panels focusing around agentic security, which I know is a hot topic for everybody. And again, we have a red teaming panel happening again. So a little bit for everybody, as well as the top 10 for 2025.
Yeah,
just to mention that as one thing of what the team's been delivering.
Yeah, there's going to be some time in there to talk about that, I'm sure. Absolutely. I'm excited to actually get to the second event, the agentic security, the open workshop thing. Some of the stuff that John has talked about trying to pull off there is neat, very exciting. And I will definitely probably have just like a handheld camera there, I would imagine. Plus, I think we're going to try and do some live streaming.
We're gonna try to do live streaming. I'm actually going to drop by the venue on Monday just to make sure that things are there. So we'll make sure that we're good for that. But yeah, that's another great opportunity for anybody to join, since it's open to everybody, not just RSA attendees.
Yeah, you bet. And then after that, the community networking event where I might actually turn the camera off for a little bit, which would be fantastic.
We'll do iPhone, the pictures like we're at a party. And in fact, Scott and I were debating this a little bit last night on Slack. Scott has very professionally named this the community networking event. I want to call it the GenAI Party of the Century. And in fact, that's how I will henceforth be referring to it. This is going to be really fun, right? This is not like stand around in rows of chairs and talk to the guy next to you.
Right.
If you haven't been to this Spur place before, it's not a bar, it's a professional thing, but it is literally a legendary San Francisco icon of a place to have an event like this. It's super cool. We're gonna have drinks, we're gonna have food, there's gonna be fun. And
DJ?
Are we having a DJ, Scott?
We're looking at that. So
we're gonna have a DJ.
We'll definitely have music. We'll definitely have music. We'll be there for sure.
If it's DJ Steve, we'll have a DJ. So consider that a promise. But
I could dust off my old skills I had.
There you go. Yeah, on the decks, the ones and the twos. All right. So this is the deal. If you only make it to one of these because you're at RSA and you're overbooked and you got to meet with clients and you got to do all that other stuff, which is the reason a lot of us are there, you have no excuse. You got to stop by the party in the evening. It's going to be a blast, and you at least get to see everybody, meet these people in person who you've only seen on Slack or on video. Everybody's going to be there. If you're not there, you're the only one. That's all I'm saying.
Yeah, it's an awesome venue. So come on down. And we'll be the party runs till like 8 30-ish. We might run a little longer. We'll see. But yeah, it's a great venue, and
you heard it here first.
Yeah, it's just it's not even a block off of the Moscone area, so it's not like it's far to go. So it's like,
you don't need an Uber. This is a quick walk. Just pop on over. No excuses.
Yep.
Great.
Yep.
Well, then that'll be easy for me to carry all my equipment. I'll be excited.
Yep.
All right. Well, that probably wraps things up for us for today. I am coming up on time, and I wanted to say thank you for both you gentlemen to take the time to join me today. I appreciate that, as always.
No, you're welcome.
Thanks a lot, Aubrey, Scott. Looking forward to seeing you guys there. This is going to be a blast.
2 weeks.
It's going to be a party.
All right. Thanks, guys. And thank you, community, for joining us for yet another episode of the Generative AI Security Podcast. That's number 7 for us. And we would really appreciate it if you would click like and subscribe to make sure that you're receiving all the most salient and important content that our project can put out. We hope to see you at RSA Conference 2025. I'm Aubrey. Thanks again.
Thanks for checking out the Generative AI Security Podcast. Don't forget to click like and subscribe, and we'll catch you on the next one.